Corey Haim was the bomb in Watchers, yo.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. Follow Daniel at DStarSick on Twitter. Follow Ryan at Darth Damio on the Bluebird app. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to episode 16 of the Horror of Babylon, where we are discussing the 1988 film, Watchers.
The classic.
Classic. I am Ryan, and with me as always is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
And thank you very much to our patrons, Abigail the First, snapper of trains, and birther of dragons.
Birther.
Progenitor of dragons.
Oh, she's a birther now.
Makes it sound like you're calling her Bertha. I don't think she would like that.
We love you, Abby.
Yeah, thank you. And
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron. And of course, For Horsemen Comics and Gaming. Check them out at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, or the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with their Captain Admiral Grampus, the molester of Christmas. Trigger warning, if you are triggered by bad movies, and by bad movies, I mean bad movies, or gore, and I don't know, is there really a lot of gore?
I mean, there's blood. I was like, I don't know what to put.
I mean, We don't have to put a trigger warning, but
yeah.
You put the note here. Teenagers almost, I missed this word.
Almost having sex.
Almost having sex. Okay, yes, they did almost have.
They were like taking her shirt off,
yeah,
and he was groping, and I was like, How old are these two? Was my
guess.
I said it out loud.
They look like 14, 15 to me.
They were 16 in this movie.
Yeah.
So they were teenagers.
Yeah, that was a little triggering. Our history with the film Watchers.
I read the back of the DVD once before I even knew it was a book.
And I knew nothing. Like, I didn't even know they made a movie out of this book until we started reading the book to cover it. And apparently they made 4.
There's 4 of them. Hey, subscribe to our Patreon and pay us to watch them.
Please don't. Please don't.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today. Background.
This movie was given a limited theatrical release by Universal Pictures in 1988. By the way, does this mean that The Outsider is a Universal monster?
Yes.
In the same way that Princess Leia is a Disney princess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that exact same... he's just Frankenstein.
I mean...
Kinda,
yeah.
In the book.
Yeah. This movie pulled in $940,000. It was released on VHS and Laserdisc in 1999. It had a DVD release as a double feature with Watchers 2 in 2003. I was in high school in 2003. I still thought DVDs were the bomb in 2003.
Yeah.
Is based on the novel by Dean Koontz, and the screenplay was written by Bill Fried and Damian Lee. Damian Lee is known for A Fighting Man, Ice Girls, and A Dark Truth. The original screenplay was actually written by Pal Haggis. By the time the movie was greenlit, the Writers Guild strike had happened. One of the Writer Guild strikes.
One of them.
And Haggis refused to do any more writing. Production was passed to the Canadian producer Damian Lee, who rewrote the script with Bill Fried.
That makes him a scab.
Yeah. Haggis read the script and took his name off of it, taking credit instead as a Bill Fried, as a pseudonym. So, yeah, that's cool. In this movie, stars Corey Haim and Barbara Williams, who played mother and son in this film, and then would play husband and wife years later in Oh What a Night, which
I thought Ryan would like that.
I think that's totally hot. Because she's a total MILF.
She is a MILF.
Not my type, but still a MILF. Well, my type is MILFs. So.
Yeah.
And this film was directed by John Hess, who also directed The Lawless Land and Alligator 2, The Mutation, Infidelity / Hardfall, and Warriors of Eight Flags. Is that about the amusement park?
I think so. It's third in the trilogy of the Six Flags trilogy.
That makes sense. And his significant contribution to American cinema was that he was a producer on the film American History X.
Yeah, that was like the most I could find out about him.
Which, honestly, we could probably get away with covering that at some point.
I love that movie.
That movie is... I love it, too. It was super horrific.
Yeah.
In the commentary at the end of the Watcher's audiobook, Dean Koontz calls the movie mismade, repulsive, tedious, and witless.
I love it when he did that. He sounded so mad.
I agree with 3 of the 4 of those things.
What's the one you disagree with?
Witless.
Okay.
It's a very base wit, but it does have some humor. He also said he would rather have his hand nailed to a railroad spike than watch the movies again. And as we said,
it's 3 sequels.
It has 3 sequels.
Now, I could not find how much this movie cost to make.
They don't have to publish that, and sometimes when the movie's really bad, they don't.
Yeah, so I can't imagine it made a lot of money.
Yeah,
like profit-wise.
I mean, it took in less than $1 million, and I'm sure. I mean, it's not a super expensive movie, but
it looks more expensive than like
$1 million. Yeah.
Yeah. God, whenever we were first like researching this, we found the DVDs like on eBay, and they're out of print, so they were like what, $80?
They were expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. We were like, man, is it on YouTube?
And that's how we watched it, on YouTube. I'm not saying I support people who illegally upload movies to YouTube. However,
when it's out of print, like, I don't have a legal way to get to it.
And the people who own the copyright of this movie don't care enough to actually take those videos down.
Yeah.
So
at that point, I'm just like, use what you got.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Structure and themes. What themes are best carried over from the book to the film?
Human experimentation on animals.
A little bit of the Frankenstein theme, but
it's not
very little. No, not at all. Like, it's an experiment, and it was created by man, but there's no real examination of the why did we or should we have themes that come in both the Frankenstein novel and the Watcher's novel.
Like, one of the scenes I really actually like in the book was when they find the creature's lair.
Yeah, that was maybe my favorite scene in the book. It's up there, definitely top 5.
We don't really get anything like that.
They don't do anything to characterize the Watcher in this movie. It's just like a wild beast.
You mean the Outsider?
The Outsider.
It's called Oxcom in this movie, too.
Oxcom, which is so stupid.
Like, they don't even call the dog Einstein. They just call him Furface the whole movie.
That honestly didn't bother me that much, because I really kind of thought the name Einstein was on the nose. I rolled my eyes pretty hard when he named him Einstein.
I actually do kind of prefer Furface, because he called him Furface so much in the book anyway.
Yeah, I think they might have even said it more than Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the Oxcom and more in characters, but yeah, they basically flubbed that entire Frankenstein theme. A theme that they did okay on is, I guess, the government conspiracy theme.
I guess.
I mean,
it's there. It exists.
Yeah, it's in the movie.
In the book, it almost felt more like how they would actually be handling it. Like, they're giving, like, false stories to vets.
Yep.
And they're, like, saying, hey, we're taking over this investigation.
Well, they did that, too, in the movie, but it was hard to pick up on. So when they take Furface to the vet, and the vet goes in and makes the call, if you listen, he says, hey, American Cancer Research, I found your dog.
Okay.
Which is what they did in the book. It's real hard.
I was not invested.
I wasn't either. I was watching this while I was working. That probably meant that I had I didn't have my eyes on the movie the entire time, but I had my ears on it more, so it's not surprising that I picked that up. Themes that are lost.
Pretty much anything with Nora.
Or Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loss of loved ones, recovering from that loss.
Depression,
being like...
Dean Koontz' optimism is gone.
Being gaslit by your aunt.
Yeah.
Having a stalker. Basically every theme from the novel, except for, like, the cops chasing you because you got their experiment.
Yeah. They took the plot synopsis and that was it.
In terms of an adaptation, your very, very basic beats. There's a dog and a monster that the government was experimenting on. They escape. Some innocent people find them. And shit goes down.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
Yeah.
In terms of themes and character and, like, the actual, like, plot action of the story, it really fails as an adaptation on basically every level.
I can see why Dean Koontz was not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be... And I didn't even really like the book that much.
Yeah.
I felt bad for people who like the book, and I felt bad for Dean Koontz, who this is commonly recognized as his best book. And even though I'm not crazy about it, I do think it could deserve a better adaptation.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Characters. Let's go to characters. So Travis Cornell.
Oh, okay. Corey Haim was the bomb and Watchers, yo.
I mean, he wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I just really wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I would like to take this opportunity to officially apologize to both Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck.
Not me. Just because this movie is bad too doesn't mean Phantoms is good. They both suck.
Yeah, but I feel kind of bad for how harshly I judged it.
I don't. I don't at all. Be better, Kevin Smith. What's your tattoo say?
Do not be sorry, be better.
Yeah. Kevin Smith, don't be sorry. Be better. Ben Affleck, you're fine, I guess.
You're a Batman. You get a pass.
Yeah, you're Batman. I'm not going to criticize Batman. Like, I'm just some fanboy in a basement. As I was watching this movie, I was like, this is just like the worst version of Silver Bullet.
I kept comparing it to Air Bud in my head.
It's kind of like Air Bud and Silver Bullet.
Yeah, like you've seen those movies, like, and not just Air Bud, but that whole genre of we're gonna have a dog do not dog things.
Yeah.
Like play soccer or basketball or whatever it happens to be. Or what's that one where like all the animals talk in their head and they're out in the wild?
Homeward Bound?
Yeah, Homeward Bound. It reminded me of like that entire genre of movie.
It's just dog movies. Like,
yeah, it was just dog movie.
A kid with a problem finds a dog, and the parents say, no, you cannot has dog. And he says, but I wants dog. And then parents love dog, and now they have dog.
Dog fix.
Dog fix problems.
That's what we said during the book, but it's like so much... I don't want to say worse, but on the nose here.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because that was really on the nose in the book.
Dog movies are not a genre that I'm fond of.
Yeah, for this exact reason.
But there are exceptions. There are good ones out there. Like,
yeah. And they must have a fan base because they keep making them.
They're so overdone. There's so many dog. And then there's also the sad dog movies, like the
Old Yeller.
Yeah, but that's like, so that there's an example to me of a good one,
because that has like an actual story.
Yeah,
or where the red fern grows.
Yeah. Oh my god, crying.
There's actual characters in that book and in the movie.
Yeah, the movie's not bad, but the book is awesome.
Yeah, right up Silver Bullet. He wasn't Silver Bullet.
Yeah, I mean that's part of why.
Yeah,
thought he did better in Silver Bullet, but.
I also think Silver Bullet was just a better movie.
100 times over.
Yeah.
But it's
like my fourth favorite werewolf movie.
I don't have a hierarchy.
Be third.
I think this movie would have been 10 times better if Gary Busey was in it and played the handyman who's trying to have sex with Travis's mom.
I almost think Gary Busey could have also been like the agent.
Yeah, he could have just played every character.
Just have him be Travis also.
And be the Watcher.
and Dora.
Yeah, why not? That'd be great.
Just Eddie Murphy it, but with Gary Busey.
Oh yeah, like a Nutty Professor to the Clumps.
Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Gary Busey.
Oh.
That would have at least been a far more fun movie to watch. He's also the dog.
He's every character.
I'm a dog and I'm intelligent.
He's the horse that saves the girl. I just imagine him up on his back legs instead of saying, nee, he's like a Pokemon, Gary Busey. Yeah, Travis.
He's 16 now.
I can imagine like the producer is like, this is a dog movie. It needs to have a kid because we want kids to see the dog movie, and the kids aren't going to see it if it's about an adult man and a dog. They want to see a movie about a kid and a dog, which I'm sure is true. Yeah, I'm sure is correct.
I honestly think that was probably the logic. It felt like a very producer, like, how do we get people to watch this movie? Because they used that logic, but at the same time they went, oh, but it's also a horror movie, and horror movies have a sex scene at the beginning. So let's have the teenagers paw at each other.
Oh, that was. You
see what I mean?
Awkward.
Like,
no, it was super awkward.
It wasn't thought through.
No,
but they just still did it.
Yeah. Not great. On the plus side, this Travis did not drive out into the desert to kill innocent rattlesnakes.
Nah, he was just trying to get his nut.
Yep. You said Dora, but I think her name is Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Nora Cornell.
Yeah, why? Dora the Explorer.
Played by Barbara Williams. They take the name of the love interest in the book, sort of eliminating her character, because she's still kind of there because of the other girl.
Yeah.
But they give his mom the Nora name.
Yeah, like why?
It's like Frankenstein with Victor and Henry. Victor and Henry swap.
Like, I almost feel like you could have like made the mother a bit part and made his girlfriend, just like you de-aged both of the main characters.
Yeah,
is what they should have done, right?
Yeah. No, if you're going to do that, that's how it should have been done. I feel like hindsight is 20/20. I got Ewok socks for Christmas.
That's cute.
As soon as they came out of the package, I put them on my feet and I said, these socks are made for Ewokin, and that's just what they'll do. These socks are going to Ewok all over you.
And then they got banned. I got Doki Doki Literature Club socks. It's just Monica. So I just call them just socks.
Do you turn them inside out when you put them on? Monica, worst girl. Barbara Williams was fine.
Yeah, I mean, she played her part.
It's not like
I don't think any of the
I don't think the actors
did an offensive job.
No, it's just
but the material they had just wasn't.
It was very poor.
Yeah, it was played so much like a dog movie, and then they also wanted it to be a horror movie.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
Yeah,
and then the most confusing thing, and probably the worst decision.
Oh, I had so many notes on this dude.
Okay, so Lem, who is the NSA agent in the book, is a black man. It's very integral to his character
that he's a black man.
Yeah, because he has a complex because his father pushed success on him because of their race. So, you have to work 3 times as hard as white folks, and then you're still not going to get the credit when you are successful. So his whole character is that he has a complex about this.
And you know how you fix that? You have Michael Ironside play him.
Make him white.
Yeah.
But in the book, he has a white partner, so they make his partner black
in the movie.
So they change the character to white and then make the person who's subservient to him a black person.
Like, in my personal notes, I wrote that down, and I'm like, why is this the thing?
Why?
Okay, I know why it's the thing. Is because they tried to, crush 2 or 3 different characters all into Lem.
Yeah. Maybe, the producers wanted to have Michael Ironside on a project or something.
Yeah, and because he is kind of a name. Look at all the shit that he's been.
He's a character actor.
Yeah.
But, that still doesn't excuse it. The optics alone are so bad. And
again, it probably wasn't as bad back in...
Yeah, 1988. People didn't pick apart these things like we do in 2023.
Yeah.
But surely, one person on that project was like, hey, this looks kind of bad, guys.
And our listeners know my opinions on these things. You know my opinions on these things. I don't get offended by stuff very easily. And even I was sitting there like, really?
Yeah, super cringy.
I was like, this is the one time you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, it's not good.
I wrote down here, he's a combination of Vince and Lem.
Yeah.
And NSO instead of NSA.
And I do like them kind of combining some of the characters, because a big part of my issue with the book was
there's so many.
Yeah. So it makes sense to combine them. You just leave the character black. All right.
Or you make his partner the villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's ways around it.
Just not what they did. So Tracy, who's the girlfriend, who's sort of the Nora character, but not really, played by Lala Sloatman.
Needs to Frank Zappa.
musician Frank Zappa, who makes music.
Yeah, you had to Google.
I had to Google who that was.
I'm a big fan of his music because it's so fucking absurd. What's that one band you like? Lonely Island Boys?
Lonely Island.
Lonely Island. He was Lonely Island before that was a thing.
You make it sound like I'm the only person who likes Lonely Island. Like they have no following whatsoever.
I also love Lonely Island because we got to introduce Hef to that.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was the best. When her name came on the credits, I swear, in the opening credits, it just says Lala.
Yeah, because that's how she's credited in most things.
And I thought, is that the dog? Are they crediting the dog? And the dog's name is Lala. And I actually looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, no, it's the girl. Because sometimes they do that. Sometimes they put the animals in the credits.
Sometimes they do. She has mostly bit parts throughout her filmography.
She's in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Yeah. I want to see Bunny to see if she becomes a fuckable rabbit. She dated Corey Haim for a while after this movie.
Well, I would too. He's a dreamboat.
Also tragically died. We sort of glanced over that.
Corey Haim died young at that 2010 is when he died. Yeah. And it was thought to be it was ruled as a natural death.
Like, I tried to read the article on his death, and it just looks like a huge mess. Like, people are still like, we need to re-examine the body, or to, like, talk to these coroners again.
It's always sad when child actors get fucked up and die young. The kid who plays Bill in the original It hung himself when he was, like, in his early 20s.
Yeah.
The one that always gets me is, I can never remember his name, but the kid who plays Chekhov in the new Star Trek movies, he died when he was 27 when his car came out of park and rolled backwards over top of him.
The one that always gets me is Ducky from The Land Before Time.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
Ducky dies? Oh, the person
actress,
who plays Ducky. Oh, who played Ducky? Like the OG Ducky?
Yeah. Dude, it'll make you so sad.
Land Before Time is such like an underrated movie that just has a bad rap because it has a jillion sequels. Judith Barcy.
Yep.
What happened to her?
Just grow up.
Oh my god. She was 10?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Repeatedly molested and then killed by her molester. Yeah.
Jesus.
I know, it's horrible. And it gets worse the more you read about it.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. I know I'm laughing, but this is nervous laughter.
Yeah, that's how you deal with it. She was in some good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Punky Brewster.
It's literally like, this is my go-to tragic childhood actor story, because I love The Land Before Time so much.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything she's been in.
Who's your favorite? Mine was always Sarah.
I'm probably pretty basic. I really liked Littlefoot.
I mean, he's a good boy. He's a good
main character, and especially the first one.
Yeah, he's like Frodo Dinosaur.
Yeah,
except for less whiny.
Yeah, scroll past that.
We really need to talk about these characters.
Cliff was the guy that was white in the book, and now is black and gets shot.
Yeah. And then the sheriff. The sheriff was actually kind of well adapted from the character in the book.
Yeah, he just gets murdered by Lim instead.
Yeah. The deputy, she was kind of funny.
I think she has the funniest lines in the whole movie. Oh, I need to pull up my watcher's notes right quick.
Right quick, man.
Maintenance man on the other end just screaming. If it's important, he'll call back. Deputy Porter. I love that line. It was funny.
It was funny. I remember that part. Let's wrap up characters with Furface and the Oxcom.
Yeah.
The dog was fine.
Yeah, Sandy the dog.
I think it's easier to enjoy the dog character in a movie when you actually get to look at an animal.
Yeah.
There's less, for me, there was a lot of eye rolling with Einstein in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually get to see an animal on screen, it kind of helps with the digestion. You had the notes here that it doesn't really learn. It's already massively intelligent. It's already able to communicate. They don't have to go through that learning process.
Yeah.
And actually, a strict upgrade for me that I thought was better in the book, I think it's a tail wag is yes and a bark is no. In the movie, it's one bark is no, two barks is yes, which makes so much more sense.
Because dogs always wag their tail.
Yeah, and even in the book, Nora has to say, now you have to control yourself so you don't wag your tail instinctively. Like, he's a dog. Yeah, he's a real smart dog. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot else to say on the old fur face.
What about Oxcom? How do you feel about...
Horrendous? Like...
A movie like this, it's one part slasher, one part creature feature.
Yeah.
You have to get the costume right, or it's gonna be bad.
I think that if the Watcher was bearable, then the rest of the movie could have gotten somewhat of a pass.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't change anything else about the rest of the movie.
Like, I sent you that fan art of the Outsider, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I had been picturing the whole time. And then I see this, and it looks like Bigfoot.
I wanted something that looked like a baboon, because that was, like, the scary part about it. Well, one of the scary parts about it for me was that it was based around a baboon, which I think is legitimately scary. Yeah. And
baboons will fuck you up.
It was like a werewolf Bigfoot.
Yeah. A baboon that weighs as much as a fucking pit bull.
I love, there's a part in the book where they're debating about if they could take it down. And he's like, oh, it only weighs 150 pounds. I can knock that out. I think it's the two cops.
Yeah, it's Slim and the sheriff.
Yeah. He's like, but it's all muscle, and it's, like, designed to kill you.
Yeah, and I think he even says something like, it's like a pit bull tackling you.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Is this movie scary?
No.
Yes, it is.
It's scary bad.
Oh! Why is it not scary?
Okay, it tries to do jump scares, and none of them are good. I'm hard pressed to think of a movie where there wasn't at least one jump scare that, like, got me.
Yeah, it just makes you jump.
Yeah, none of them did.
No.
The monster didn't look scary, so you didn't even get that.
No.
It didn't really build tension, because the whole movie kind of had a feel of fucking Air Bud instead of a horror movie.
They also, like, kind of let the cat out of the bag really fast on the Watcher.
Yeah.
They don't build it at all.
And that's another part of, like, the horror in the book is, like, you don't know what it is at first.
Mm-hmm. You go, like, half the book without really knowing what it is.
Like, Travis is out there ready to shoot rattlesnakes, and Einstein's all like, yeah, no, we're not going to go that way.
And we're going, and you're like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Is it a bear? What is it? Is it the government? Great line from this movie. The NSA is part of the government. They're not evil. They can't be evil. They're part of the government.
Hear Daniel screaming that.
Yeah. The movie was surprisingly quotable.
Kiss me, fat boy!
Kiss Me Fat Boy.
Subjected to teenagers fondling each other.
Yeah, that was really awkward.
And a weirdo massaging a single mother.
I'm not crazy about teenage sex scenes in movie to begin with, but if it's going to happen, you really got to have people who look like they're over the age of 18.
And these guys actually weren't, I don't believe.
No. I can't imagine they were. And regardless if they were or weren't, they looked like younger than 16.
They looked younger than 16.
And it would be one thing to have them making out, but the fact that she, like, actually got her shirt off.
Yeah, I thought it was going to keep going. I was sitting there going,
ugh.
I wish you could have seen my face.
Yeah, it was not great. I was not a fan.
Like, I have a reputation as an absolute degenerate, and I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, you are a degenerate.
Yeah, but
so is the person who made this movie.
But there's one thing I'm not. That's a pedophile.
I am a degenerate, but I am not a pedophile.
Yeah. I was so uncomfortable.
He who smelt it dealt it, pedo.
That's funny.
I did think the handyman was funny. His line, it was like, why don't women like sex as much as men? Can you just tell me that? And I wanted to yell, oh, it's probably because you're not very good at it.
Yeah. Here's a secret for all you lonely men out there.
That was mean. I I'm going to bleep that so it can stay a secret. Even though it's true.
Okay, for my 307th book, this couple is attacked by a lamp monster. Ooh, ooh.
You're not even trying anymore, are you? When can I have it?
Okay, so we're on to Koontz and King, because this is a Dean Koontz episode, so Koontz is the good thing, King is the bad thing. So what is your Koontz, or aka the good part?
Deputy Porter.
Yeah.
I legitimately found her hilarious.
I would just say the random bits of humor, her, the handyman, and also, like, Travis's friends. I really thought the part where they're running through the forest.
Yeah.
And they yell, "Run, piggy, run!"
It reminded me of a scene out of Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
The miniseries.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Ryan's going to like that scene.
No, I did. And I also appreciated the fact that they killed all three of those kids.
Yeah, it was so... I was like, wow, man, they really just... They murdered the children.
Second kind of distant second place, Koontz. None of them were really that good, so it doesn't really matter. But there were actually a large number of kills in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't a horror movie where, like, 3 people die and you're like, yawn. A lot of people got offed, which I appreciated.
I felt like if the kills would have been more creative or, like, more gory, I might have enjoyed this film more.
Yeah. And then your King, the bad thing.
Lem being white, because I was distracted the entire time.
I want my worst thing about this movie to be the outsider.
Yeah.
But it can't be, because that's just so much more of a worse offense.
Yeah. And if you hadn't read the book, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Which 98% of the people who've seen this movie probably have never read the book.
But I did.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, this seems like, and again, I do not get offended easy, but I was like, this seems like an offensive change.
Yeah.
So.
Rankings, I did mine ahead of time. I honestly thought that it was about on the same level as Phantoms, but we don't do ties here.
Yeah.
I could see it going either way, but I decided to put it one slot above Phantoms, which puts it in like 6 or 7 from the bottom. And the reason why is because I found this movie less offensive than Phantoms because I like the Phantoms book so much more.
That's a good point.
Because when I was watching Phantoms, I was mad because the book is so good. But because I wasn't crazy about the Watcher's book, this was less offensive to me.
That makes sense.
Okay. The list, and I'm going to presumptively scroll to the bottom half of it.
I liked Phantoms more. I liked Mary Shelley's Frankenstein more because at least I got like that 80s rock amniotic fluid scene.
I also have Frankenstein above it. I would think you'd like Horns more than this movie.
Yeah, because I also think Horns is more competently made.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it right above Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter because that movie still...
Screw that movie.
That movie still just irritates me.
Irritates the hell out of me. And you can check out these rankings on our Discord. Ask to join the Discord. There's a link in our Facebook group. Join the Facebook group too. And then go to the rankings channel on the Discord and you can check out our lists for all the stuff that we've covered for between the two of us, and Hef has a list on there as well. Homework. You are in charge of the Watchers reboot. How do you handle it? And do you direct it yourself? And if not, who do you hand it to? Mine is real fast. I don't do it, and I spend the money on something better.
No, you can't. You gotta do Watchers.
Okay? I will make it into a $300 cartoon where the outsider kills Einstein and then spend the rest of the money on something better.
Actually, I've actually come up with 2 answers. All right, my first one is you give it to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, he's made some good movies.
And you have him directed in the vein of E.T., only instead of E.T., it's the dog. So it's still a dog movie.
Which is what I said, like, on the book episode, this is E.T. with a dog.
Yeah, so you still get your dog movie, but you still get, like, the government agents, and he can competently direct them, and he will make Lem black. I also think he could make the outsider scary.
Yeah, which the outsider is scary, which you would never know if you've only seen this movie, but...
And my second answer is I turn it into a Saturday morning cartoon, but Furface talks. He's just a talking dog best friend.
What if you made it a Sunday morning cartoon on the religious channel, and he's like Davy and Goliath?
Oh,
I don't know, Travis.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just like that.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
I think I'm an offense to God, Travis. I should be put down and baptized.
In that order. Baptize me after death, like the Mormons.
Random question, do you think that this movie, like a sleepover with like 8 or 9-year-olds, like back in the day, do you think this would have even been like a good movie?
I don't even think I would have liked it back then. Like, I liked some garbage back then, but even back then it'd be like, I would rather watch Friday the 13th, rather watch Nightmare on Elm Street, like any other spooky thing. I would probably put it over this.
Probably would have, as an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, I probably would have fixated on the girl taking her shirt off in the first scene, like really
okay,
hard.
that might have got me.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, this is the best movie ever. This is so awesome. I love it.
She looks like my hot older neighbor who sometimes babysits me.
Oh yeah, my babysitter.
What is that voice?
I don't know, but I just love it.
Okay. What's our question?
When I was 8 years old, I called erection stiffies.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Mom, I watched this movie where this girl took her shirt off and I got a stiffy.
Okay.
Question for the listeners. What's the worst book adaptation you've ever seen and why? I put a note in here for Bram Stoker's Dracula. We're not going to get into that. But I did keep thinking on it. And I also want to put the Da Vinci Code and Inferno out there as well as being terrible book adaptations.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is a big one.
I guess we'll see where Uzumaki lands.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, if we're counting comics, Kick-Ass 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, that could be a whole pre-show as your top 10 worst book to movie adaptations.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Or what might be more interesting is your top 10 movies I prefer over the book. That would be hard.
It's a short list.
Yeah, well, maybe top 5 then.
Yeah, I have 2 so far.
I know, I can think of one off the top of my head.
Both the Ring movies are in my top 2 for both of them over the book.
I don't know. That'd be something. Okay, we might do that.
Okay.
All right, for further reading, I guess you could watch Watchers 2, Watchers 3, and Watchers 4.
Or you could pay us to watch them.
Yeah, no.
We'll add that to our Patreon stretch goals.
If you like this movie, I guess you might like Phantoms.
Yeah.
Phantoms has
They're in
Peter
that,
O'Toole.
They're in that exact same... I think they're in the same vein of quality.
Phantoms had more money to spend on actors. Thank you very much to our patrons, Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron. And for Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, or the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And you can say hello to the Eater of Sand, the Smeller of Toothpaste, and the Humper of Chalkboards, Ronald III.
We should give him his own jelly beans.
Oh, he doesn't do well with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's why it would be funny.
When we did that Paki chip challenge.
Yeah, I remember that.
He would not do it, like, at all.
I think I still have that, like... God, did you guys have that on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can still watch it.
I think it's in my, like, YouTube favorite somewhere.
Yeah, it's, that was bad. That was a bad day. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for our socials. Thank you for watching this movie and recording with me.
I want to kill myself.
Well, you can fuck yourself on your own time.
Yeah.
All right. Stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow Daniel at DStarSick on Twitter. Follow Ryan at Darth Damio on the Bluebird app. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.